Hello everyone and welcome to Dear Love Talk. I am Helena Marquez and
I'm James.
My lovely husband. And today, very cute one. And today we are going to answer some more questions for you, okay? And all you need to do in order to send us your questions is...
You can get in contact via our email address questions@lovetalkshow.tv or via Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. It also works. You choose. We'll be here to answer your questions. Let's start with the first one. The first one comes from Joanna, and she says, "My name is Joanna and I've been married or been happily married for 3 years. Lately, there is a young man from work who has become quite flirtatious with me, and I'm not sure how to deal with this. I have no interest in him whatsoever, but I don't know how to deal with the situation because I don't want to be rude. How do you think I should go about this?" Joanna.
We have the answer for you.
But I think you are treading on dangerous ground. Let me tell you why. You may not have any intention whatsoever to act on his flirtatious advances. You know, or maybe just harmless flirting. But you know, one of the most difficult things to keep is a marriage, is a relationship. It's hard because you have all this outside influence that tries to attack all the time. And this is a perfect example of this. And you don't have to be worried about being rude with this person. It would be rude for you not to cut him off. It would be rude for you to allow this to become a problem in your marriage. And maybe you say, well, but how can this become a problem? Because he's just being flirtatious. It can become a problem because imagine one day in this, him being harmlessly flirtatious, he sends you a message and says, "Oh, today you looked lovely." And then your husband sees this message. That's going to come across really not right. For example, I wouldn't like if you would get a message saying, "Oh, you looked lovely today" from another guy, unless he was your dad, right? Or your brother. But you know, the thing is, first to protect a marriage, a relationship, sometimes you have to be radical. You cannot allow things like this to go on because they lead on to problems.
It's playing with fire. You're not the one playing with fire, but he is playing with fire. So you need to let him know that you don't want to be part of his fire, if you know what I mean. So I think you need to be very straightforward and say, "Listen, pal, I'm not that kind of person. I'm a very serious married lady. And I don't joke around, I don't play around with this, so, go and play with someone else."
But I think we need to say as well, you need to be careful because if he feels comfortable enough to be flirtatious with you, it's because maybe you've allowed him to. I think that's the key point. No one becomes flirtatious with you unless you allow them to. I think there has to be a line that you need to cross, or not cross rather. You need to draw that line and say, "Look, there are certain things that are not acceptable for me." And sometimes you don't even need to say it. It's just the way you react to that joke he does, or the way you interact with him. You know, it's perhaps just the way that you interact that is already going to make the difference. So my advice to you is that you don't have to be rude, but sometimes you have to be radical and say, "I'm sorry, I don't like this kind of jokes, they're inappropriate. Let's move on, let's be professional." That's it. I think if you do that, you'll be solving the problem, but be careful because you might be giving him signs that it's okay to do this, and it's not okay.
Exactly. Now let's go for our second one. It's from Alexandra Gutierrez.
Gutierrez, that's a Spanish name. Alexandra Gutierrez.
Okay, and she says, "I am 29 years old. I am a 29 years old girl who went through sexual abuse when I was much younger. Unfortunately, I have come to feel very inadequate and insecure. And although I have had people who take interest in me, I always feel that I am not good enough. I think I am never going to be good enough as a wife, mother, companion, etc. I have tried to get over this, but I can't." Now, you see it. Well, first of all, I'm really sorry to hear that. You know, it's never a good thing to go through, but it can make you stronger. Remember that. This past of yours can make you stronger, and it wasn't your fault. you were a victim. So choose to move on. Choose to think about what happened in a different way, not as a victim, okay? And if you still have problems overcoming, because it's a very sensitive,
Absolutely.
it's a very sensitive subject here.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to say to you, oh, just, you know,
Just forget about it.
Forget about it.
It's not that easy.
You can do this. It's not easy. So I advise you to seek help, professional help if you need to. You might even need, actually, because if this is impeding you to be happy and move on, it has become a problem.
Yeah.
So I advise you to seek help and to follow my first advice, which is to look at the situation in a different way, see yourself as a survivor, a strong woman who can go past all these things.
In fact, I'd like to personally recommend you to a very good group, support group for people who have been through abuse. It's a group called Rahab, and you'll find their website on the screen right now. I'm sure that they'll be able to help you. And let me just tell you something. If you find yourself to be inadequate, or you think you'll be inadequate as a mother, as a wife, as, you know, the one person who should be feeling inadequate is the person who took advantage of you. Like Elena said, you are a survivor. Don't let anyone tell you different. And although there are scars that remain there permanently, because you're never going to forget what you went through, but you don't have to let this control you. This doesn't have to determine how your future is going to be. And if anything, you can, from your own experience, help people who have been through the same thing, who are going through the same thing. You know, experience can't be bought. Unfortunately, this is an experience I don't wish anyone to have. Hopefully this would never happen in an ideal world, but it did. So take on the experience you have, invest in overcoming this first for yourself, and then you can help others. And let me just say that you can have a happy and successful relationship. And just for us to wrap this topic up, you know, Elena, a lot of people say, because they've been through an abusive situation with the opposite sex, they think, oh, all men are abusers. All men are terrible. Or all women. In fact, I spoke to someone recently who said, and you don't hear this a lot, but someone recently told me that his wife used to abuse him physically. Maybe you say, come on, James, how can a woman abuse a man? A man is much stronger. But if you have that kind of nature never to retaliate or hit a woman, and a woman has
Maybe
issues.
she was manipulative.
And yes, and she was taking advantage of that. But let me just say that you don't have to be unhappy because of what you went through. Not all men are the same. Even though this person hurt you, let me tell you that you can be happy and you can move on.
Absolutely.
Okay, there will be someone there who will respect you. Okay?
Absolutely.
Let's go for the final question today, and it says, hello, I would like to remain anonymous because my question is of a sensitive nature. Some time ago, I contracted an STD, a sexual transmitted disease, when I was in a relationship that I'm no longer in. This has led me to become quite depressed, as I feel that this will hinder my chances of being happy in a relationship in the future. Also, is this something I should disclose when I am in a relationship or not? I don't know what to do anymore. Well, look, you know, the thing is we can't change our past. It's an unfortunate situation that you find yourself in. And unfortunately, we can't change that. What I can advise you, first of all, before we even deal with your question, is that you have very sound medical help. Get someone from a medical profession that deals with that who will support you. Nowadays, this has become a problem that is not as taboo as before. You know, it's unfortunately something that's become quite common. So you can find a lot of help from doctors, from people who will be willing to get you through this moment. Now, you can still be happy in a relationship, even if you have an STD or if you had an STD, because there are ways of controlling this. Again, your doctor can help you with this. Now let's go to your question of whether you should reveal this to someone or not. And we can't, yes, you have to reveal that to the person, but let's say Elena and I are on the first date, right? We just met, we're having coffee. I'm not going to tell her on the first date, hey, listen, I have an STD.
Of course not. But if you are thinking of becoming intimate with a person, because time has changed. When we were dating,
hopefully, let's just,
different.
you know, Lena, let's just do this program in the premise that we're talking to people who have a different mentality to relationships, right? We would like you to believe, we would like to believe that you are a bit more sound in making decisions. But if the relationship is indeed moving forward and is becoming more serious, even whether you are thinking of being intimate with the person or not, you will need to disclose this. Why? Because even if you think, I'm only going to be intimate when we are married, even if you think that, the relationship is being serious, you need to let the person know that. And if they love you, they won't reject you because of this, because eventually, as they are thinking possibly one day you'll be married, that's something they need to know about. So yes, you do need to disclose this, but it has to be at the right time. And you can still be happy even though you have struggled or you may be struggling currently with an STD.
absolutely. There's nothing else more that I
Sure?
would like
Nothing?
to say. No, no, absolutely not.
Okay, so we
That's
agree.
all for today.
That's all. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get all our videos and our programs. Until next time,
Bye.
bye-bye.